bought a parachute at a church rummage sale with a mean sewing machine and miles of thread. We sewed the day above LA. In navy and red, we wound a racetrack through your mom's kitchen chairs and brought the shadows back. Down your dark basement stairs, I lit a match, then let it catch to light up the room, and then you yelled as we beheld an old maroon hot air balloon. I'll be out of my mind, and you'll be out of ideas pretty soon. So let's spend the afternoon in a cold hot air balloon, jacket behind, lean out and touch the treetops over town. I cannot wait to kiss the ground wherever we touch back down. Everything seems to be in order. Alright. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last we left off, I had reached a save point that may have been in the middle of a trial. I need to do something at some point to get the stuff in a decent synced thing. It's easier to start with the trial than start with investigation, I think. Start a stream with trial, that is. And that might just be because things generally take a bit longer anyway. I don't know. Hopefully I can just get that synced better at some point. Oh well. Let's open it up and get into it then. Just capturing this. I don't know what it's talking about, DLC. Does this game even have that? I have to unplug and plug my controller back in every time. I didn't leave it plugged in the whole time without actually using it. That might be different, but... Right. We were still in the trial. I have considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. That's right. So everyone hates me. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Judicial findings. The juror's contentions. Hughes left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime. To this crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it's only a little book. Hardly life-threatening. Hardly... That's not her voice. It's been a minute. Dearie me, it's only a little book. Hardly life-threatening even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble. Come to think of it, he had a fire at home a while ago. Gave me the sneezes. Yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness's testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. That means, I'm afraid, that during this summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those two details are all we need to provide. I feel like that's not the voice. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. Whole name? And there I was, thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends. Ugh, no pressure then. That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel. Oh, yes, my lord. All right, Ryunosuke. Focus your mind now. Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Miss Garrideb. We have a book that disappeared from the Garrideb's house on the evening of the incident. And the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far. Whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Miss Garrideb and how she reacts, even to things other people say. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. Accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. Hold it! But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Hell, what difference does it make? I think it'll be obvious enough. It usually pops up a thing. There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Sorry? Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrape with his wife or something, you said. That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, this fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it? I suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see? Modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Overwhelmingly. Us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So I'd be only too happy to reconsider giving an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady. Right. Glad you omitted rational there. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can be related to the crime if the window was closed, can it?
Hold it!
But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then what's the point in even having windows, huh? Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. Daring me. Oh, daring me. It was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening even with a direct hit.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Well, he brought it upon himself. He's playing with fire to betray fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrett. Never you mind that. The point is, we were all just having a little jovial little dispute, nothing more. Stop smacking that guy. I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Right. Well, we'll see about that. What about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garrett's restless onslaughts. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Him and me both, then, like I said before. What? I told you already. I'm a day laborer, aren't I? But I'll bring home some readies with me tonight. You'll find me floating face down the Thames tomorrow morning. Thames? I think it's Thames. What? You heard me. My missus ain't one to mess around. My missus isn't one to mess around, you know. She can be fierce, believe me, with me. Another shiny example of marital bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was swell. Do you know? It's funny. I can't quite remember. Sorry? It's too frightening. That's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. I wonder if Mr. Pete will ever be dragged into the Thames by a scarf. Don't even go in there, Miss Susato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Gave me the sneezes.
Hold it!
Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up, lad. Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was. You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Of course not! It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously. Seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow 'em out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. Flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. Furniture caught and everything went up. A place filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold, but how did you catch a cold from a fire? What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, they had to open all the windows to clear it. Windows. The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I got a terrible cold from it, put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry. I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. I need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street. As well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. All of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other, to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes. You don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions, just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike. That's the spirit. Alright, should be... You're saying the window is closed, and I'm like... Oh, you changed your statement. Both of you did. No, you didn't. Just this guy. As far as your diary, gotta open windows, clear smoke.
Objection!
Those two juror statements clearly contradict one another. Do? How exactly, counsel? Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. But, well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Geradev household. And Mr. Geradev had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh my, I can't!
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, you have something to say about that. Mrs. Geradev. Oh, dearie me. What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. Oh, what is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? All right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window. Which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire. Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Miss Geradev's formal statement. Oh, you mentioned it, yes. The window was open at the time. I'd clean forgotten, but it's true.
Hold it!
And the 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book Mr. Geradev told us he had been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. Now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. Times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as well you know. I really don't. Barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Oh, hello.
Excuse me.
What is it, juror number 5? You know something. I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out. Ah. I was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back. What do you call me granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Geradev or the maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. It was about 2 weeks ago. I just got back from after work, I just got back home after work, I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. It was a hole. Every last penny dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy. Uh-oh. My wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out. I told her straight. Lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did, about an inch deep. No words. Just terror. Everyone has terrible partners. Smell it then, you know. That god-awful stench of the Thames. Sure, I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? Well, never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, I'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. I'm in a rage will hurl almost anything. You kitchen knife really brought that home to me.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. Good grief. I mean, they don't contradict each other. Explain, counsel, at once. Juror number 2, do you think, perhaps, that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? You've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrideb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrideb household to the street below. What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garrideb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanbowl? I'm beginning to think that, ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened. You listen here, you Eastern Gullah! As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house. But what? What was it? I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that, at the very least, this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrideb household to the scene of the crime was... knife.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrideb. What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Good Lord, Counsel. What on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged in the victim's back, man. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrideb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed in to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that. The book was found in the victim's grasp. He's saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand. It probably just landed in front of her and she just was like, what's this? And picked it up. Like, that's fine and normal. Huh. Mind, Mrs. Ink hasn't got a name like that. Yes, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Oh. Mrs. Garrideb, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, Okay, goodbye. You might need to be taken off the jury in this case. My lord. Who said this? Probably my lord. Pardon you. Oh, my lord. I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. Certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman. I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. All together now, ladies and gents. We did it. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruto. So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty, 4 now calling in. 2 jurors called guilty, 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue. Does, like, the prosecution get a chance to do this sort of thing? If everyone says no, it's all cool. They all did that at one point earlier. And then he did argue, so maybe they do. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. There's a garbage truck outside. It's very noisy. What are you doing? I mean, just getting the garbage, but I don't know why it makes that noise. Maybe it's got one of those compressor things. I never pay that close attention because it's not like right outside the window, so I can't quite see it without getting up. just know that it's loud. Oh, there they go. At least it's red. I don't think it's been red before. Did they repaint them? Alright. Like a corked wine, first few sips are bitter enough. What follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Manzeeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. Let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? Should already be more than apparent. Between the crime scene and the Garrideb household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrideb's house to the scene is some, 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. Meters. Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagine. And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? No, it fell on the ground, and then she picked it up and was like, huh, what's this about? And then she got stabbed. Did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mrs. Sato, serialized detective stories are pathetic, aren't they? How dare he? Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead. The prosecution may consider the idea of fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Miss Joan Garrideb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Well, we've just established she was semi-involved in the area. That makes her a witness now instead. You need a new juror. Order, order, order! Oh, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
And unnecessary. Who cleans this place? There's so much broken glass. Lord Van Seeks. Spilled wine also, but... There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses? Yes, sir. Constable Frawley Bean, reporting for duty, sir. Well, good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of the villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they're so heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Frawley, my hero, you make me swollen. Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request. Oh, and order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events. Yes, sir! Witnesses' testimony. Constable Beats report. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett, believe me. A London Bobby is good for his word. See, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garrett house are top-hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Didn't she say you were face down in a snowdrift or something when she came back? Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows. What does that mean? That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Oh, yes, I'm sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. I cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. I mean, up till this point, they hadn't assumed that that building had been related whatsoever. They probably just ignored it. No, sir. Sorry, but what exactly is a top-hinged casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course. Sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's room. All right, I'll try. Oh, that's a much closer look than we actually got. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Oh, like that. The windows in my room upstairs are like that. They suck. They like crank out, so they're on like these little things, these like rails that hold them, and they just don't stay on the rails, and so they come off and then they get stuck. It's just not good. These ones don't seem to have that problem necessarily because they're set up different, but still. But as it's a top hinge casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. Glad you rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay. A metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening? This is all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. No. You see the problem then. Good. Your education in windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already. That can't be! Did you see that, Rolly? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. Oh, Rolly, you're so strong. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed. Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. My lord. Good. Another desperate situation. We have an extra chair around right now. I wonder if it might be better. Constable Beats report. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word.
Hold it!
How can you say that for certain? Very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founded principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. He showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember. Patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. That's what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you what Bobby's good for his word. Well, rubbing my tired eyes, admittedly, sir. Oh, Rolly, you're so manly. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb? I see, sir. Yes, sir. You should have said earlier, sir. Yes, well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time, then. Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to the fullest of my abilities, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. Before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes, sir? I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London Barbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my wallet card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you, I'll try. Constable Beats' warrant card has been entered into the court record. Interesting. Small folding wallet that identifies London Barbies and contains the rules of conduct to which they must adhere. Let's take a look at that. Yes, windows. What's up? Item 1. Principles of policing. Item 1. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Metropolitan Police Regulations. Item 1. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Item 2. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. Sure. Pretty straightforward.
Hold it!
No, I didn't read that aloud. It's fine. It's just the windows. By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see, so they're restricted as to how much they open. And therefore, anything thrown out of the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. Clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where the objects would have fallen. Yes, directly opposite the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road. It would have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before. Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry. You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course, I feel terrible for that poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh, yes, that Streetbriar Road. That's a boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Did you move him over to the other side of the street so you wouldn't have to deal with it? Or her? It was a lady who was stabbed. Constable Beat. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garrideb household yesterday. Their house is on my BEC, sir. That really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garrett household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garrett's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think, if that woman had been attacked on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go out for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of that's the life of a Bobby after all. Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure that we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruto. I'll take care of it immediately. Case files information is updated in the court record. Pavement where the victim was found lies just outside of Constable Beat's beat, the border of which runs down the middle of Briar Road. And now it's my turn, I think. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it.
Hold it!
But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already, and it was dark. All the more reason to see something that was actively on fire, I think. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Sorry? A star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can it guide you to answer the question? If a flaming book had cut off across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. I'd probably be an inspector, I would have said. 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smog and everything, you couldn't actually see any stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir. It certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Hold it!
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. So Rolly told me the way. Only, I sort of got a little lost in the way. Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Oh, please. So, I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But, like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby's never really off duty, sir. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Hold it!
Nothing to report. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and another was removed from it. I can swear to that on the God's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. That seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garradeb household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Whoops, that's the wrong button. Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived on the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. Two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir. Yes, of course. What is it? Lollipop. You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. Oh, please don't step on my keyboard. Lollipop. I was done with that line, I think, but still. What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might see me as the wife of, you might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses, I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that! That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though. And you're just...
Hold it!
Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us. I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. The little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives, no knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction. Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I always ended up in the wrong place when I made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross.
Excuse me.
Constable Beat, is there a problem? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening, is all. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. But the reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Really so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and half pennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Oh, yes. But that was just between us. Don't talk about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise. Really? Oh. What's that all about? Constable Beat looks very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. I was so upset. We ran over and I saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice it first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yes, and I came back to the scene, together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again, but the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably? That's right, silly me. I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Though, I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there. I really can't. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me. With that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry, solitary rose? Oh! Oh, yes, that's it! That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary, with old bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose. Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garridum household. In front of the Garridum's house. No, it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have it back now, please? No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. Oh. Anniversary bouquet has been entered into the court record. Present for Patricia Beat from her husband, Rolly. The shock of seeing the stabbed victim caused Miss Beat to drop the rose where she stood. It's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing to report on that front, sir.
Hold it!
Nothing to report. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the sky. I can swear to that on the odds honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me. Oh, we did this. How'd it get there? So you did move the victim and the books. Even if that were possible, why book? Look at this book. Okay. There must be some common thread between them. Okay. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you make of all of this? Yes. The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The fourth book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Garrideb was hiding something from us. It is becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious fire. Now, how do we go about stating this? This windows. We would have seen if something. How do we? Let's see. It's very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it? It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Sasata-san, you do love your cakes. An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower. This is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before. Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types, at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum blossoms, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching out, learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example. Nothing particularly stand out on the back. Nothing really going on here, it just is a flower. Right, you dropped your bouquet. Now, how do we communicate this? Oh no, that's not the button I meant to push. No, you don't need this. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I didn't mean to do that. Shut up, I didn't want to talk to you. I wanted to check my court record. I pushed the wrong button. Arguments. Okay, let's see. Maybe we just present the bouquet? Maybe. There are strange things to report, like this being across the road. I think you moved the whole scene. How do I tell you that?
Objection!
I guess that works. You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. Well, what do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry blossom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. Meager?
Objection!
But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's what Rolly didn't mention, I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garridub's book. Mr. Garridub's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garridub's house. There's no logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Wittering on about books and bouquets? Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garridub's come round. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garridub. But deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. But the person responsible for this tampering could not admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering. You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for for tampering with the scene of the crime? This guy.
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat. It was you. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby worked more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? Bet it was him. He did it.
Objection!
If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well.
Objection!
First, you make accusations about the landlord and his wife. Now you incriminate a policeman as well. Your accusations like one very important thing. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there is only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something. That's right, he's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? Doesn't make sense. You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. I'm getting there. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery? Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? I mean, where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Prior Road. We saw it happen, remember? It's right here. as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Japanese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Over here.
Take that!
But that's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garridub's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious!
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. These witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print. The victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. The constable overlooked one thing. What did he overlook? A bouquet, I presume. Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeke said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rolly Beat? Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. You'll probably be sated by the fact that it was partially for your benefit. So you could go do your date or whatever. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. only it seems as it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly! Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all of this? Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? Wishing the victim dead should be one too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town. But I can't say. It was, What? Really, I'm ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation, for everything. I have a possible explanation for why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Manzeeks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you would better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan. Makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions? You're gonna ask me for the specific page. I don't know if that's the case.
Take that!
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan. Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learnt that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day. Each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? Oh. On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh, yes. It was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of him. What must have gone through the man's mind? Sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigation and help detectives. Huh. Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not, the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything he said. That's alright. So that's it. It's all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh. Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Gracious. Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? It was the first time since I became a cop that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. This criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then, it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. If a crime was discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? Why tonight, of all nights? Why? It's the copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out from my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Meerschaum Street, and then... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted... just that one night to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Rolly. Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. So you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought... well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon. Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement. Oh, I see your meaning now. But God caught me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly. And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total?
Four it was, yes, sir. Definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garadev household, of course.
But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean.
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
Oh, you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding?
Oh, yes, no doubt about it, sir.
Interesting. The 4th book's information has been updated. It was in the victim's hand when Mrs. Beat first ran over to see what had happened.
I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who'd ran off who'd done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zieks. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of Rolly? What will happen to him?
Now, you're free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. Alright then, my love.
One last thing, Constable.
Sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson in your mind. Never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Never again, sir. You mean to say?
Leave now. This trial is not yet over.
Sir.
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could have committed this crime.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Lord Van Zeeks, is this true? Very well. Name the person, if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime. Oops.
Take that!
The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again.
My assistant made the same request earlier, in order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb.
Me? Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection!
That request has already been denied.
Objection!
But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garadeb, answer me this.
What do you want now, you little toad?
At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garadeb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road.
Well, what of it?
You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement, top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident.
Yes, and as I said, what of it?
During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before?
I don't recall it.
Seriously?
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? Anyway, the man over there and all that regalia said members of the jury needn't testify, did he? Didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
No recollection of seeing that at all. Juror number 4. Oh! Make no mistake. You jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. But that's just a common garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. I have several just like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know?
What's that?
You joking? What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Garadeb. Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I
couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. That's so beside the point. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop, do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruto, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already.
And take the stand, juror.
Oh!
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman.
Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. I'm going to have to testify.
Juror number 4, as I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today, witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware.
Oh, dearie me.
So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrett. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
Certainly, my lord. That's what I'm hoping for, my lord. This is such a strange feeling. It's the first time since arriving in this country. It actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer.
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Yes. My name is John Garrett. And I'm a juror and such like. It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore.
The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam?
Yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me.
Chin up, Joni. Nothing more to worry about now. Are you here? Was that your voice? I don't feel like it was. You're no longer bruised.
Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Well, I think I ought to testify as well, don't you?
Well, what about your knee, dear?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Oh, John.
I presume you are Mr. John Garrett. Yes, sir, former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were.
Quiet life?
Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Well, yes. Quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Hello, Honeyball. My kitty. Battle of Garrideb. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'd have a job proving it, I think. I'm assuming we don't have, like, fingerprint technology at this time. Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although, an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy kept shelling us for another minute, we'd been toast. Of course, veterans such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, just an announce whisker from death at any moment.
Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end.
And Zeke's may well be right.
Zeke's, I think.
Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. Alright. Okay, you're referring to, you did have a skirmish, don't remember why.
Hold it!
The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book that belonged to Mr. Garrideb. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Garrideb found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. She gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I'd say, but a chap says he can't recall such things. It's common decency not to drag it all up. Besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway. A likely story.
These waters run very deep.
What transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though and got the window open.
Hold it!
And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
A bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bath water around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. Most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street. The water main isn't connected yet. You have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
The lodgers always Lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although, that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he received a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? It's obviously very well off. Have you actually seen the state of the man? I believe he uses all of his income to buy books. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire. As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw. That is most certainly not true of Susato takedown, Naruto, Mr. Naruhodo. How did she know I was thinking that? So, please, cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. You see, spread cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, and napkin. Oh, what's up?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garrett. Don't shoot. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind? Will they have any significance? No. Just that, but the barrage of projectiles, the old thing launched in my direction, somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker I seem to recall. Ouch. The woman's aim is uncanny. She's on a direct hit with every bomb. Yeah! Good grateful, but you're not at home now. This is a court of law. Oh, dearie me. I'm so sorry, dear. What's she even doing with a teapot in here? Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at... I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously. Take a look at this, then. How do you suppose that happened, Your pipe, sir. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see, your pipe was broken. Let's examine how it was broken. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. Ah, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I wonder what we should make of this account. The defense believes Mr. Garrideb's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one... In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Well, I don't see why not. Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with the young lady. Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. pipe has been entered into the court record. Mr. Garrett's pipe apparently fell to the floor during a domestic dispute he had with his wife and broke. I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. I was just feeling rather disappointed in you. Rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh, no, it's fine. Thanks to Sasato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Exactly what I was going to do. Let's see. Got a chip on the side here. Chunk of knife. I guess that's where that ended up. It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason it feels slightly ominous to me. Like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garrett's dressing gown. I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrett, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Either that or he can't afford to replace it. There's a small nick out of the bowl here, look. Appears to have been made relatively recently. See how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe. Yes, you're right. Seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand in hand with getting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye though, because it's clearly new. Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there. Yes, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. Fragment of metal has been entered into the court record. This small piece of metal looks like it might be the tip of a knife blade. It was stuck inside the bowl of Mr. Garrett's pipe. We saw that the knife had been, like, slightly broken earlier. Not much else to be said about it, I suppose. This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garrett's pipe. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't really know. It's just something niggling me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of evidence again. No, I remember. Looks like the whole thing's probably just got the same statement. Yeah. Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garrett. Now if we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd noticed if one or two went missing, I'm afraid.
Hold it!
Sorry? Would you care to elaborate? Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carving, you see. Pipes and whatnot, fishing tackle, you know, that sort of thing. It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too. And then there's my leather work. It's hard to say, we're always losing knives about the place. There are dozens of the things. They sell them at the market sometimes. 20 for the price of 19. So needless to say, I snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at mealtimes too, instead of a knife and fork. Oh, now, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm some kind of savage. Here we go again with the scaldings. Why are they being so evasive? I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim. Which is entirely understandable, of course. but still.
Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir. That bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it, I think.
Hold it!
So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can produce proof. Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent.
Objection!
You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it is yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack.
As if I could forget. If only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo. What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists? Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin. Or so they say. But I can't see anything.
There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice. Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. This knife found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garredeb's house. If only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony. But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident.
Look at it. She's like, Hitler, look at the knife, look at the knife. We're showing you the knife so many times. Don't you want to take a closer look on your own? And I'm like, I did that a while ago. I know what I'm doing.
Yes, I know. I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was, in fact, a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury. If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence there to if we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything. Yes, it would. So, for Soseki-san's sake, we must find that last crucial piece of evidence. Got it. Look at this knife.
Objection!
Shouldn't be hard to just sort of hold it up to the main piece of the knife and just see if they match.
Mr. Garredeb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing.
You can't?
Used to call me Dead-Eyed Dem back in the regiment, of course. But that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Oh, he does, dearie me. It's rather wearing, being asked about every other letter and every other word. You should get, like, a magnifying glass, perhaps. You must be very dizzy. I don't...
What is that? Tiny scrap of metal.
Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence.
Interesting. And where did... Hold on, I was checking something. And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
A pipe, you say? And Jove, I wonder how that got in there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
I am.
People must think you're so weird doing that. What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord.
You're on a box. You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case? A knife, obviously.
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing.
Common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tip lodged in their victims' bones. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
Oh, grief, Lord Van Zeeks. I don't believe it. A knife from the crime scene. This fragment of metal. A perfect match. Good golly gosh! Order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle.
So, Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he?
Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once.
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did this fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
I had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. Would never have been sent flying unless it was hit with something pretty solid. Oh, dearie me.
During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garrideb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garrideb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time,
which caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord.
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1.
And yet, there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garrideb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh. No!
Objection!
Now what? You got wine again. How much of that did you bring?
Full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. Complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument.
Sorry?
But, after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. 'Cause you see, it's spoilt by an insurmountable inconsistency.
Talking about it falling. What? Oh, I didn't realize you were just going. What do you say? An insurmountable. What?
Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back.
Yes, in her... Ah!
That's right, you silly little man. Oh, Joan, old thing. What are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there is no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Order! Order! Quite right, you see. That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head.
Well,
So that's for words, look. I knew it. Never liked his theory in the first place. I don't know, though. It really did happen. It would appear the defense has made rather a spectacular blunder. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. I can clear this up. Give me a minute. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. We were so close. I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. But now the way's been blocked completely. But just one simple inconsistency. Or, in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency, and the theory will stand. Miss Susato. You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. We were just caught off guard, that's all. Your mind went blank. If the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself.
The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponiese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. Tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed.
Objection!
Yeah, like objection from that position. This inconsistency, it's something. It means I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. It doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. Yes! It's if the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way it could have hit her in the middle of the back of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is.
What are you implying?
Counsel, give me a minute. There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer. Goodness.
Utter madness.
Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. This is the last inconsistency. The final piece in the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... book.
Take that!
This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present.
Burnt book.
Is that not Mr. Garrodeb's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand.
But as we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
That's true, however, as part of his testimony, Constable B made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. Holly Paw, what are you doing? Please do not step on my keyboard again. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure that it was still in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of his own. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By Jingo! I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh, dear me. You know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garrodeb household onto the pavement below. At precisely the moment the victim was walking past.
Yes, at exactly that moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
The book I threw.
Yes, Mrs. Garrideb. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
Oh, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up.
Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh, heavens!
When the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Oh, I never!
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above.
And from the other direction, Constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb,
The very first thing you showed me, very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There, old bean. Poor Mrs. Garrideb. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. John, dear. It's all right. I know. I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry. Bye-bye. Something on my screen. Gonna have to clean this off later. Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garrideb? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There's no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, They caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
They?
I feel like the guy didn't do much of anything. He opened a window to not suffocate, and then dodged flaming objects. There is some good news, however, my lord. I've just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily. The doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her. Oh, wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news.
So, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon.
Oh, no, Mr. Natsume.
That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beats said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless.
It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog. They're haunting me. That's because you have, like, carbon monoxide poisoning or something. Some kind of gas leak. Maybe the prison doesn't have that and you'll feel better.
Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man.
So, when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Oh! Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
To declare, the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Stick in for the old bean while she thought of action, you know. But I know what her decision would be. This means I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work. Well, it's about time. I say, I'll have a cork of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yeah. Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty. Yay. Great. They did that last time too, I suppose. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord, sir. You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir. Of course. All my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. 20th of February, 3:17 p.m. Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Oh, Locum.
Oh, wait, you mean me?
Of course! Is there another Locum here?
Is there even one? Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name's become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with us using my actual name?
Oh, at last I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation! Heady, hearty happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard to just say that then?
Locum, you did it! Save me from the brink!
Well, what happened to the poor woman who was in no... What happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now.
No, not that! Lovely, loyal, Locum lawyer!
Yes?
I mean, as I said before, I've just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners, I see towering brick buildings. From high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing, and look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today you Locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm beneath and behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold, the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Is that what's to become of all my hard work?
Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. It's you. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
I see I'm here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Oh,
Trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo. I wish you the very best of luck. You're, late.
it's just finished.
What? No! And my haste was in vain. Oh, it's you! Sherlock Sholmes! Oh, have we met, sir?
This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom. Either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. Simply couldn't place that curious face in the light.
Charming.
This is all your fault, Sherlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Ah. Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now.
Oh.
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless. I'm sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Or so, Seki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. There is no bright side.
Whatever you do mean, Mr. Natsume.
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper.
Lord Van Skeeks.
I've forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hiya!
Why'd you throw him?
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of a warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan.
Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh.
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here, and the city it has shaped. I've come to realize it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Or, perhaps in less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more the strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. Work of literature by Souseki-san. Could be an interesting read.
And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry, what about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Why would we?
We got here 3 days ago.
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings. And suffocate and die there.
Oh, the windowless room.
Ah, but it lacks in windows. More than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls.
Great.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit.
Oh yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
We'll think about it, if that's alright.
Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Oh, it is up in the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of.
Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
So, suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you. Yes.
Wonderful. I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Somebody's happy.
Local. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you two. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, come to realize that I belong in Japan. Locum, we'll meet again one day.
Yes, I'm sure. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, Mr. Schultz.
I have little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Souseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221 Baker Street. 221B Baker Street.
Oh, this is nice.
'20th of February, 4:41 p.m., the attic room. Little
empty. Got some stuff around, but totally functional. So this is to be our new office. Yes. Our office? I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Cosmo. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
Oh, you've taken off your stuff. You have hair. Ah, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, thank you so much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate.
Iris, you must let me help you.
Alright then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad.
Splendid.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel?
I feel like you look better with your hat. Your hair looks weird. I think his hairline's just a little high and the hair's just shaped oddly. Maybe you just covered up that part, unparted. I don't know.
To have your own office in the capital.
It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us.
Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Till I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is.
Sorry?
London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows.
Shadows? What do you mean?
Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London.
Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came. Lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Oh, ominous. End. So your progress, yes please.
It's already 10. Let me see. Investigation will take a while, and I wanted to fix up the timing on it so I wouldn't be interrupting trials. So if I were to stop here today, how many episodes are in this, by the way? Because usually by episode 5, that's like the end of the game, but it sort of feels like we're only just getting into it, really. Granted, the first 2 episodes were fairly short. One was a tutorial on trials, the other was a tutorial on investigations. And then another tutorial on the new way trials are in the third one. So I guess there might just be more episodes in this. Otherwise, it would be very odd, I think. Still, given the time, Holly Paw, you can't go in the window, it's closed. Given the time and how I wanted to fix up the timing of the chapters, if I start the next chapter at the start of next stream, episode, whatever they're called, most things call them chapters, I think. If I do that, then Princess, really? Then that should fix up the timing. I should be able to do the whole investigation in one stream and then the whole trial in the other stream. And things will time out just much nicer if I stop here, which 10 o'clock is a perfectly decent time to stop. Been like 3 hours, not bad. Bit shorter today, but it should make sure things even out and make a bit more sense in the future, I think. So I think I'll probably stop now. Yeah. So I'll stop here for today. On Wednesday, I shall be playing some more Ni no Kuni. And Friday, we shall return with episode 5. Seems like a plan. I believe that's all I need to cover, really. No, honestly, I feel like maybe one more day. I should take a look at my scheduling, see if I can squeeze another thing in there somewhere. The problem is that there's 7 days in a week, and it's annoying. Because you can't do something on every other day and also on the same day of the week every time. It's annoying. 7 days is a terrible number of days for a week. Oh well. So yeah, I'll be back to this on Friday. We'll start up episode 5. The timing of assorted things should work out significantly better. All will be well. Ni no Kuni on Wednesday, though. Starting up 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Roundabout, at least. That's all, though. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Hello? I hit the